Hey guys, what is going on? It's Lazarus here, bringing you another MLB The Show 17 video, and today I'm going to be giving you some tips on how you can become a better pitcher. And while it may look simple on the surface, pitching is probably the hardest thing to do in this game, so hopefully these tips will help you guys get a little bit better. With that, let's get right into the tips. Now really quickly, I do want to mention the gameplay in the background is of me pitching, and in the gameplay you're going to be seeing a few examples of what I'm talking about throughout the video, so that's why I chose it. You get to see some good and some bad. Now the three main aspects we're going to be focusing on in this video is location, pitch selection, and predictability. And the last two kind of tie into each other, but we'll get more into that as we go on. Now this should be very obvious, but location is one of the most important things you have to pay attention to when you are pitching. And by that I mean do not, and I mean never, throw the ball down the middle. No matter who you're pitching with, no matter how hard they throw, keep it out of the middle of the plate. You want to stay inside and outside, but never go to the middle unless you're going way above the strike zone or way below. It is incredibly easy to hit balls in the middle of the plate compared to inside and outside. If you throw inside and outside, you have a better chance of getting pop-ups and ground balls, but if you throw it in the middle, they're probably going to square it up if they're a half-competent player. Now throughout the gameplay in the background, you're going to see a few examples of me throwing in the middle, making mistakes, and it's going to get hit hard, and that's what's going to happen if you don't live on the edges. It's pretty much like real life. You don't want to stay in the middle of the plate, you want to live on the corners and try to hit them all the time. And mainly, I try to focus on making pitches that would induce ground balls and fly balls, using like sinkers and fastballs down in and stuff like that. But yeah, definitely that is one of the most important points. Do not throw the ball in the middle of the plate. Next up, we're going to talk a bit about pitch selection, and this really depends on like the right-handed batter versus a right-handed pitcher versus a left-handed pitcher, stuff like that, all those splits, and it also depends on the count. Usually what most people do in the 0-0 count is throw a fastball in the zone somewhere, but that's kind of predictable, which we will get into later. So don't be afraid to throw a breaking ball or something like that just to confuse your opponent a little bit and throw off their tempo, because you don't want them to try and get a feel of what you're doing. I'm going to be going over a few pitches that I like to use depending on the batter and situation, so I will do that right now. When it's righty on righty, I like to stay away. If your pitcher has a slider, I usually like to pound slider down the way and then come back with a fastball inside. Change up down the way is also a very good pitch when you're pitching righty on righty. And you pretty much want to do what I said before. Stay on the edges. Pitch inside and outside, not in the middle. For right-handed pitchers on left-handed hitters, I like to throw sliders down and in. That usually gets ground balls. Fastballs down and away usually gets ground balls as well. Fastballs high and away isn't bad. Most guys will pop it up because those high and away pitches are actually pretty tough to hit. But don't throw the hard stuff down and in, because that's pretty much lefties' sweet spots and you do not want them to crank one on you. So yeah, basically when you're pitching to lefties, you want to avoid down and in because that is their sweet spot and you're obviously not trying to give up runs. Now pitching lefty on righty, in my opinion, is one of the hardest things to do in the game, because I feel like it's a lot easier to hit lefties when I'm batting righty, but it's kind of similar to pitching righty on lefty, but it's a little bit different. Definitely like to pound the slider down and in. The curveballs low work very well as well. Fastball down the way usually works. You could also mix it in high. Change up down the way does well too. And a pitch that really works good sometimes is the high fastball way above the zone. That can usually get the job done, because people facing a lefty pitcher while batting right-handed, they're going to be really eager to hit, and that might get them off balance and they'll chase out of the zone. And finally, next up, we have lefty on lefty, which is the hardest for any hitter to hit. And basically what I do here is I try to stay away with the soft stuff as much as possible. That includes curveballs down the way, sliders down the way, and occasional fastballs middle in, high in, even outside too. But the most effective pitch here is the changeup down the way and the slider down the way. Really, any good pitcher, you want them to have a slider, because that pitch pretty much works with almost every situation. So definitely get pitchers with sliders. The last thing I want to touch on is predictability, and that is a huge factor in the game, because once you're starting to face somebody for a while, you start to pick up on tendencies like pitches they throw in certain situations, the order of the pitches they throw, and you don't want to get too predictable, because then you're going to start getting hit hard. Let me give you an example. If I face an opponent that's constantly throwing me high and in, I'm gonna obviously adjust and start to hit the high and in fastball. Or if they throw me a pitch sequence like fastball, curveball, fastball, after a while you're gonna start to pick up on that and you're gonna recognize it better and you're gonna start hitting. So definitely try to change it up. Don't always throw the same pitches in the same order, because people are smart. Good players are gonna pick up on it and start hitting you better. Well, that's about all I have for you guys in today's video. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe. Comment down any tips you have for getting better at pitching. And with that, I'm out. Peace.